Good morning and welcome back to Your Financial Independence. In today's video, as you can tell by the thumbnail, we're going to be going over my 2 reasons of why HYLIION is going to see mass adoption in their Hypertruck ERX model. And as always, I have to plug this in here. If you enjoyed this content, please make sure you subscribe, like, comment down below on future videos that you would like to see. So in today's video, we're not going to be talking about anything hype, anything like that. I'm going to give y'all the cold hard facts. We're not going to forecast anything out in the future. We're going to be talking about what's going on in the trucking industry right now. So just for everybody that's not aware, I went ahead and pulled up Uncommon's website right here. That way, because this is the 2 biggest reasons that why I think they're going to see mass adoption in the future. And we have abundant, low-cost domestic fuel. We're going to get into that in a second. I've got a lot of information that I kind of compacted down to make this video short. And then one of the biggest reasons that we're seeing right now is the maintenance, basically the exhaust treatment system, all the EGR systems and stuff. There's no reason to have them on natural gas engines as diesel engines. And we're gonna come and compare some of the cost. I called my dad and went over all these costs and stuff like that. He is a truck driver. He's been in the industry, longer than I've been alive. So he knows just about everything that goes on. So yeah, I feel like it's easy to say that he's forgotten more about trucks than most people will ever learn in their entire life. So that's a pretty good reputable source where I'm getting a lot of this information along with the internet. So now let's move on to the first topic of why I believe one of the main reasons why we're going to see mass adoption in the future. So I pulled this up from a random trucking forum, basically where they talk about a lot of stuff. And I was kind of doing research because I was kind of comparing the trucks back in 2008 to 2015. It looks like a lot of the main problems were back there. A lot of the EGRs, DPF, DEF systems and stuff like that have gotten a lot better, but they're still pretty problematic. And we're not even going to go into the cost of, a down load, having to pay for a load. A lot of these trucking companies, if they can't get that load to the manufacturer, wherever they're shipping it to in time, a lot of the times they have to buy the load. And then that's why you have shipping insurance. So that goes to your insurance, and then you get a higher insurance premium from that. So that's, out of my realm of, you can't really research that because that varies by so many different companies. But yeah, we're going to get into the labor cost here and kind of some of the prices. So this guy checked into a place in California, got quoted for $635 in labor. That comes out to $127 an hour. That's a little bit on the high side, but it is in California. So you're going to see places like California, New York, stuff like that. Higher cost of living. It's going to be higher, labor charges. I would say the average is probably around 70 to 80, and I confirmed that with my dad, and he agrees with that. So, and then that's just the labor alone. Then you got the cost of the EGR valve itself. So that's $1,712 plus taxes that's going to get added onto that. However, they also wanted to charge an additional $254 for extra diagnostics work prior to replacing the EGR valve. So, there's so many sensors, and I can't even get into that either because it varies so much by mileage. You have some trucks that have equipment that's already having issues as soon as you take it off the dealer lot. Some trucks you can get, 100,000 miles or so out of it before you're going to have these problems, which on average, 100,000 miles, a trucker can do that in a year. Seems pretty out there. You can fact check me. These guys are working, 5-6 days a week away from their home, driving 10-12 hours a day, so it checks out. And then while I was on the phone with my dad, I wanted to kind of price check some of these a lot of the maintenance items that are going to come up with a lot of these emission systems, and then costs that are related to the powertrain. As electric powertrains, they don't have transmissions, they don't have clutches, they don't have any of that. So that's that many more parts to you don't have to worry about. That's less downtime for your truck, more profitability that these trucking companies can make. So you're looking at, and I'll throw in images, that way y'all can see it as well as what I'm talking about, kind of like what it looks like. Automatic transmissions, that's going to be about $10,000 to replace one of those. EGR cooler is about $1,800 is what you can expect from a shop bill. Automatic transmission clutch is about $3,000. So you can see a lot of these, what you would see in a car of costing, a normal 4-wheeler car. You can see a cost of, $1,000, $2,000. Like an automatic transmission, that's $10,000 right there, and that's not including labor. That is just the unit itself, assuming that you have a core charge that you can actually, get a refund a little bit from that. So the trucking industry, you see a lot of high cost. So that's the first reason why we just went over all this stuff that you're not going to see on the Hypertruck ERX. So a lot of problems that's not going to come up and have downtime from a truck, which is going to lower insurance premiums, especially when you're talking about, the downtime of your truck potentially being half as much. The next thing I want to get into is, the DEF cost. With DPF filters, you have diesel exhaust fluid that actually goes in there too, and it basically lowers all the NOx emissions and stuff like that. It basically produces less emissions, and that's another thing that you don't have to worry about with electric trucks or natural gas, hybrid electric trucks. You know what I mean, talking about the RX model. So a Class 8 semi, usually it varies between 3 to 8, and I took the 5 percentage. So 3 to 8 gallons of DEF for every 100 gallons. I took it right in the middle, kind of a little bit conservative, and I chose 5 gallons per 100 gallons. And that's where you're going to see these calculations coming in at the end of this video of what we're going to be going over. So I went ahead and fact checked this with my dad, and it's about $2 to $3 for DEF fluid per gallon. So we use $2.50. We're trying to keep everything average. That way we can get a good estimate in these calculations that I'm about to show you. So now before we get into that, you can pause the video and go over this however you want to do it. Or you can take my word for it. So basically every gallon that you use, you can get a 50-cent rebate from that from the federal government. So this right here that you're seeing on the screen, this is a federal website where you can get the average fuel price. It goes through all 50 states to get a nice median fuel price. So diesel fuel, you're looking at about $3.32 per gallon. Liquefied natural gas or, stuff like that, natural gas is about $2.45. With a tax credit of 50 cents per gallon, you're looking at about $1.95 per gallon of fuel. So if you take the calculations that I previously went over, these numbers are going to seem small, but you're going to see in the end of this video how these numbers annually can become huge. So average trucker, about 100,000 miles per year. Some people, I've seen as high as 150,000 for just one driver. That's not talking about team driving, just one owner operator or company driver in a truck. With about $2.50 per gallon of DEF fluid, 5 gallons per 100 gallons, because we took the average of everything. And as you saw on the last, with a full weighted load, you can get as high as 10 gallons per 100 gallons if your truck's really working hard and using a lot of DEF fluid. But take all that out of the picture. We're taking the average. The average truck on the road right now gets about 6.5 miles per gallon. So you're looking at 15,384 gallons of fuel used, 769.2 gallons of DEF used. So DEF fluid alone, you're looking at $1,923 just in DEF, the diesel exhaust fluid. That's not including diesel fuel. Trust me, diesel fuel is a lot higher. So if you take into the fact that the average natural gas truck out there, or liquefied natural gas, gets about 5.5 miles per gallon. The reason why it gets less miles per gallon is because natural gas or RNG is a lot less energy dense as diesel fuel, so there's a less amount of energy in the fuel itself. So yeah, you do get a little bit less miles per gallon. Diesel is coming in once again at about 6.5 miles per gallon. If you get a really good truck driver out there, you might can squeeze out 7.2 miles per gallon or something like that. But we're just taking the average. So liquefied natural gas, that comes out to, with 100,000 miles driven in 1 year, that comes out to about 18,181 gallons of fuel used. With the tax credits, everything included, $1.95 per gallon is about $35,452 basically in fuel cost alone. And now if we look at the prices of diesel, that's 15,384 gallons used, so a little bit less gallons used because it's more energy dense, better miles per gallon. Same thing, 100,000 miles per year of driving. That comes out to, we got the average, once again, that's $3.32 price of diesel, and that fluctuates a lot, so we got the average. that's $51,074 a year. So now to even be more fair on the diesel engines out there, let's just say, forget about all the DEF fluid and, the $2,000 annually that costs and all the repair bills that comes along with emission equipment. Let's just take all that out of the factor just to be a little bit more fair towards diesel engines and a little bit easier on myself with these calculations, because repair bills can come out of nowhere. It's really hard to get the average out of those. So let's just go on fuel cost savings alone. Swift right now has 18,000 trucks on the road. Yes, 18,000 trucks. Take the average 100,000 miles per year. If you take the $51,074 that you're going to be paying on a truck yearly or annually for fuel costs, and then the $35,452 of annual fuel costs with a liquefied natural gas truck, you times that savings by $18,000. That's $281.19 million in fuel cost alone. That's taken out of the equation. Once again, all the maintenance costs, and I can't even begin to fathom, all the missed loads and stuff related to DEF problems or EGR valve sticking and stuff like that. So just in fuel savings alone, that's over $280 million that Swift could save in 1 year, just if they had all 18,000 of their trucks converted over to HYLIION system. So this is the end of the video. I hope y'all got a lot of value out of this, and comment down below, are these numbers way too off? I've done a lot of research on the internet and fact checked everything with my dad. I can't even begin to imagine. I think he's been in the industry around 30, 35 years, something like that, longer than I've been alive. And he's done everything from being a maintenance worker to, owning his own trucking fleet. Now he's working for a company, all that. So he's got plenty of experience out there. And when I was doing these calculations, it was a little bit, shell-shocking to see how much then one trucking company could save in fuel. So once again, I got to say this. I hope y'all enjoyed this content. Make sure subscribe, like, comment, and catch me back on the next video.